everyone, I'm Caroline.
And I'm Phil.
And welcome to our French experience videos. There's going to be a series of these up, so keep an eye out for that, for a playlist with them all in, because we've had such fun. And in this video, we're going to take you to some brocantes.
Yes, now for those who don't know what a brocante is, it's basically a combination of car boot sale and a street fair.
Yes, a garage sale, if you're in the States. Similar sort of thing.
Very similar.
They take over this, all the roads are shut down, and everybody brings out their bits and pieces to sell, and also traders come in, people travel from other towns, and they sell things at really reasonable prices.
Now we headed to some of the smaller ones, so there were less traders and more individuals coming out onto the streets. But it really is an atmospheric time.
Oh, it's wonderful.
One of the things they do is virtually every brocante we go to, they do sausage and chips for lunch, and people buy their tickets and then they queue up and they have their beer and their sausage and chips and they're all sat at tables, and it's a real civic occasion for the village.
It is.
It's something they look forward to and they plan, and there's a lovely atmosphere, and we're used to doing these tours. In fact, Caroline did buy a lot. Now, I know I seem to be blaming Caroline, but as you'll see in the reveal at the end, we are talking masses of stuff, of which one item belonged to me.
Yes, so if you stick right through the video at the end, we're going to show you all the things we bought. So if you love retail therapy, then that's the place to be.
But while Caroline did buy an awful lot of stuff, it was not comparable with some of the footage I picked up from the old days, because I was going through the footage for the caves and I came across some footage of myself carrying items on 2 previous holidays, and boy was I heavy laden, because we used to buy some pretty big things.
Oh yes,
Fair
bigger
play.
the better. I love buying big heavy things, and poor Phil has to be my Pacos.
Well, I may not be able to speak the language, but I can certainly communicate with the people, because as I walked through the brocantes, people were laughing. And especially when Caroline would buy things, they'd take a look at my face and see that look of despair as she'd buy a cast iron weighing scales, having already bought 2 dirty great big milk churns.
So let's go have a look at those brocantes and see what was for sale and what I cracked and bought.
Uh-huh. One of the beauties of being in a little village like this on a sleepy Sunday morning, carrying large parcels for Caroline, as she's been buying in the brocante, is the beauty of what's around us. Look at that over there.
Not that. That.
Well, as you can see, we've done our first brocante, and I've got a bag full. You'll find out what's in it later.
There's a very noisy dog telling us off.
I've made my way back to the car, carrying very heavy bags, but Caroline isn't halfway around the brocante yet. So I've moved the car down to get us a bit closer, because I get a sneaky feeling she could still be buying. There are bargains galore here. Absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, she's already bought a few. So back in we go and see what else we can get. But I'm armed with my big M&S Christmas bag. That should do the trick. Well, I'm back in the brocante with Caroline. We've got the town hall behind us. I've got my trusty big bag, but Caroline beat me. By the time I got back, she had already purchased something that's too big for the bag. Yep, that'll have to go over my shoulder. Another great thing about the brocantes is, as I say, they're more than just a place to buy things. It really is a major social event in the villages and towns of France. And just behind me you can probably see the smoke starting to rise as they're cooking the food, because there'll be sausages and chips and bread rolls and all sorts being served out here on the town square. And all these tables behind me will be full by 12 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock now and already people are starting to arrive to buy their tickets for their meals. It's a major social event. It's really great to be here. It's such a buzz. Well, it's warming up now, folks. That's 2 brocantes down and at least another 2 to go, unless we decide it gets too hot. The coat is gone, the jumper's gone. If it carries on like this, the hat will be gone. Except for the fact I've got to watch I don't get sunstroke. But bargains galore. I've had to clear the back seat. They're now all in the boot because we had so many. And it's on to brocante number 3. See you down there.
If you're enjoying this video so far, then it would be great if you could give us a thumbs up or a like. Ooh.
That would be lovely.
Let's carry on.
Well, here we are, brocante number 3. And Caroline's well ahead of me, checking out the bargains. I've moved everything around in the back of the car, so I've got my bag. So I'm ready for action as soon as she finds something else she wants to buy. And I'm sure she will. And if she doesn't, it's a glorious day. And what better thing to do than be hunting for treasure. I'm just coming under the shade for a minute because it is hot now. It's about 11 o'clock, the sun is high. But at one point I thought we were going to have nothing to return on this one. And then the bag started to fill up. And then Caroline decided to buy these. Which means they won't even fit in the bag. We're talking a long piece of plastic air. So I get to carry those as well. Or at least I'm getting 5 minutes in the shade. So if you'd like to join me in the shade, feel free. Or you could be out with Caroline, rummaging in the sunshine. Okay, I'm out of the shade, back over with Caroline because she has found 3 rolls of ribbon for €1. So she's rummaging again, and I'm left holding the ribbon. The lady on the stall saw how impressed Caroline was with the price on the ribbon. So she's given her a second box to put them into so she can get to the bottom. So now Caroline's definitely in her element. Well, it's now reading 31 degrees. Our air conditioning has decided not to work, so the windows are all open. But the good news is, as well as 2 bags full of stuff from the brocante and 2 rather large swimming aids, I've also got my baguette for the day. So I'm a happy chap because that'll be part of my tea. But now we're going to find some shade and do lunch. Because folks, if you're doing this, you want to pack a picnic and you want to make sure there's some cool blocks in the box to keep your drinks nice and fresh. Okay, here we go, let's find some shade. So here we are folks, we're heading into brocante number 4. And then I think we're going to be calling it a day because the sun is up, it is boiling, it is beautiful. We've just had a picnic in the car and thoroughly enjoyed our baguettes and our Jaffa cakes and cold pop, because I brought the cool box with those couple of blocks in and I don't half make a difference. But we're just walking into this village now, and as you can see ahead of me, slowly the street starts to fill up with traders. This will be a lot quieter because it's been going since 8 o'clock this morning and now we're after lunch, but still worth a look. And if there's traders there, then sellers may be selling things off now a little bit cheaper again, and we've already done some real good bargains today. So come and join us now as we take a look in brocante number 4. You may notice behind me the clear road. Now that's not something we've seen much of today because there are usually sellers all along either side. But of course it's late in the day. If you want to get out buying over here, when we were traders we used to get up at 5 in the morning. This morning we had a lie-in and we left at 7. But your first 7 till 10 is when the most are out. We're back on the move. We didn't find anything at that brocante that we wanted to buy, and of course having a boot full of stuff means we are more choosy in what we choose to buy. Arriving at 1 o'clock meant that a lot of people had packed up because it's the heat of the day and they've gone for their siesta and having a lunch. But there are brocantes still ongoing, and there's one 6 kilometers from where we are. So we decided before we travel the hour back to our accommodation, why not pay a visit to just one more brocante and make it 5 in a day. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go see if we can find brocante number 5. Well, we're at brocante number 5. And I said earlier that the later it gets, the more difficult it is to find things. There is one positive about coming later in the day. If I just turn the camera around, that's where we're parked, folks, and there are the stalls. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, confession time. Well, number 2 for the holiday, number 1 for this video. Because if you watched last week's video, you will have seen I had to confess that our battery packs for our super lighting system were left in the house. Yes. On this occasion, no such problem. I hadn't left anything behind. But I did manage to... The GoPro is a touch screen item. I am not a touch screen person. No. You know, up until recently, they had buttons on my phone. My granddaughter laughed. She said, "Granddad's phone's got buttons on it," and burst out laughing. I ended up touching the screen at some point, not realising it. So as we show you the brocante number 5, unlike all that beautiful footage you've just seen of the things we were viewing and the places we were at and the descriptions, well, take a look at this, folks, because somehow it got onto super fast time lapse. So here is a 30-second sum up of brocante number 5, my end piece from brocante number 5, and the journey.
Talk about whirlwind tours.
Here we go.
Well, apologies for the noise. We are not too far away from, there's a beautiful sandy beach and a lake, and the children, as you've heard, have just woken up and they're all in the pool. So if you hear screaming and laughing, it's the children in the pool having a whale of a time.
We did decide to get out here before the children settled in, and we did, but obviously they've arrived now.
Yes, they've woken up.
But that's been a theme of this holiday, man, the sunshine.
It's been lovely.
One day of thunderstorms and the rest has been glorious. And in those brocantes, it was boiling.
Oh, it was. Very hot.
That time lapse, you know, we could never have moved at that speed in real life.
No.
I was struggling.
Very slow.
I was struggling to move at all. But although it was a speedy coverage, Caroline did manage to find a bargain. Now, we had found that it was getting more difficult to find bargains as the day went on.
All the bargains had already been bought up.
Yeah, but she did find one.
Yes.
And it cost €2.
Sense of theme.
Bit
here.
of a theme. And look at this. There we go. I'll pass it over to you, dear.
It's not old. As you can see, if I show you the back, well, it's quite old because it's really greasy. It's been in somebody's kitchen on the back there. But you can see it's a battery clock. So it's not that old. But I'm going to do something with that over on my craft channel.
Yeah,
so I love that. I think there's so many things I could do with it. So now I just have to figure out what, and I think you can see there it says €2. I'm not used to this camera.
Yeah,
so
and we've got the mock alarm clock top.
Oh yes.
And all the numbers. I think it's quite a statement piece. I'm sure you can do something with that.
Oh yes. But
So,
I'll put it down now because it's rather greasy. It needs a good wash.
So as I say, we did find a bargain even in the last one of the day, even though we'd been out by that point for, oh gosh, about 5 hours.
Yes, it was a very long but such a fun day.
It is, it was indeed. But of course, we've still got all the finds to show you.
Oh yes, we've got a huge pile behind there.
Bags full of finds. As you saw there, I was relying on my trusty M&S Christmas bag in the end because it's the biggest bag I had in the car. But before I show you those, I did promise you to show you history on a plinth. So let's show you the wonderful city of Laon. I'm always saying there's history all around you. Well folks, no one could argue with that here at Laon. This is an amazing place. You go around a corner and there's something else. And here, as we've just come round this corner, we found this. Now, admittedly, it's got a lot of scaffolding on it at the moment, but this is an amazing chapel. Nowhere near as grand and great as the cathedral, but this is a chapel that was built for the Knights Templar. Here in the flower beds of the museum, you see these characters. Now ain't that a boot? And I say characters because if we just take a little stroll along here.
Oh look, it's peonies.
Ah, there we go.
We've been having the discussion of these peonies or peonies. If you've been on our live show with us, and these are peonies as we pronounce it, and they are beautiful.
Aren't they just? And they look great in the sun. As do these boots as well.
Alliums?
Allium.
Alliums, very nice. Onion family.
Oh, I can see the resemblance, yes. And here's the other character here.
I think we could have those on our house.
Oh yes, for sure.
They look really good.
Yes, have to build a house to go with them, I think. Staring at each other here on this little piece of garden in front of the museum, in front of that amazing Knights Templar chapel. Wow.
Should we go in? No, we can't get in any further because the door is chained up, but look at this. It's like a gargoyle-y type thing, or a trough, in the shape of, oh, I don't know, I thought it was a dog.
Head, perhaps?
But yeah, perhaps a ram's head with a wing and a foot underneath, which looks like a cow's foot. And then it comes along here, so I'm thinking either this is a gargoyle or it was a water trough that was fed by a spring. The fact is, sure, I'm going for gargoyle. Look at that. We look up here. Look at those gorgeous columns. Well, that one's not really well, is it? I think that needs a bit of restoration. And then you've got these lovely doors with scrolls on. Look at that, they're beautiful. And then we turn around, Phil's found something else.
I think it's a coffin. Think so? Stone coffin?
It does look like. I would say try it for size, but don't be getting stuck in it. Let's have a look in there. Yes, that does look like an old stone coffin. I'm wondering if they're relocating these for the moment while they're doing the renovations. Because as you can see, scaffolding everywhere.
And there's a lot of bits and pieces outside.
Yeah, so bits they've taken off that need fixing or just in safekeeping for going back on.
And the only reason this is locked up is because of the renovation. I've read people's accounts of coming here and being able to go in and see inside. We can't today, but I still think it was well worth popping around to take a look. The thing is, as you walk along here, it's just every building. It's just the streets, it's the doors, it's the shutters, everything. It's just absolutely amazing.
Ooh, look at the painting on there.
Oh, let's have a look at the painting on there, dear.
Very nice. I just like the doors, I think, more than the painting. I think that painting's quite modern. Look at the doors. And look at the number up above.
Oh, yes. You can see the original stenciled number, 28. And then that lovely enamel number 28. And if I step back, we may be able to show you the grandeur of these doors.
They're quite big.
Yeah, look more like a garage than anything else. There we go. That gives you some idea as Caroline poses there to show you the grandeur of the doors.
Hello, Mr. Cat. How are you feeling? A bit sleepy? Yes, it is a bit warm. What's that? Could we go away and leave you in peace? Okay then. Bye, Mr. Cat.
Now, one place we have to find as we go around here is the cathedral, because it's claimed to be second to none when it comes to Gothic architecture in France. So we've got to take a look, and it is most unusual because we always have carvings, there's always gargoyles, there's always all manner of saints and angelic beings that adorn the towers and the ramparts, but here they've been a bit different. Because the people that designed and built this cathedral back in 1150 decided to pay homage to some of the labourers that built it. Not the men, no, the oxen. And there, up behind me, you can see the towers with the oxen. What an amazing sight. Absolutely incredible. See the oxens on the corners just looking out over. 8 on each of the 2 towers there, 16 in total. Incredible. The beautiful Gothic cathedral behind me is not the original cathedral even. It was built in the 12th century, replacing the one that got burnt down during a revolution. But the king was successful in quashing the revolution and they started to rebuild. Not just the cathedral, but 16 churches, 3 abbeys, a palace, and there's even a hospital here in Laon which is deemed to be one of the oldest in France, because that too was built in the 12th century. There is history all around us here. And of course, as well as all the ancient architecture, we've got modern technology, as we've got a road chuffer train taking folks on a tour to see all of the places of interest here in Laon.
You may think, oh, these streets are a little bit dark and dingy, but you've never got that problem in this particular street. Because if we look up, oh, look at that. They put these huge lampshades right down the street, and then they go to put bulbs in them and you can light the street up. There are even more when we walk down this street. They're everywhere. It's so pretty, so happy, and I would imagine, quite a reasonable price to really stylise your very posh streets for shopping.
The bulbs are in these?
Yeah, they're not on though.
I still reckon that must be the poshest street lighting system we've ever come across.
Well, Phil could make a friend anyway.
What a nice chap. Little two-dimensional for my usual choice of friends, but a very nice man.
What a very nice outfit. Look at that, very snazzy, eh?
Oh, I thought you were talking about me then, darling.
Oh, you as well.
Thank
You
you.
are a style icon.
I am, indeed. It's the hat.
Yeah.
The history of this city goes way beyond the buildings that we see. In fact, it is believed that the top city, because this is divided in two halves, but the top town of the city was probably established in some form 3,000 years BC. And the first documented accounts are when the Romans arrived. They were very good at arriving and very good at documenting. And the history has gone on from then. Today, Laon is the capital of the Ain region. But there was a time when it was the capital of the empire, of what was then France. That was until a new king arrived. Hugh Capet was made king in 987, and he decided to take control of this city and then move the capital status down to Paris. But you still see the vestiges of a great city that at one time really was the first city of France. And as well as its beauty since it's been built, of course what drew people here for the last 4,000 or 5,000 years has been its location, high up on a plinth. This is built on a limestone plinth that rises up above the plains below, the plains of Champagne and Picardy. And it's from within this plinth that they drew out the stone to build the city. So it stands 100 meters above the plains, and it has buildings that they were able to access the stone right on site. And of course that has caused passageways for miles beneath this city here. And those passageways have found plenty of uses over the years. In medieval times they were a prison, and in the First World War they were HQ and a hospital. So plenty of use for the caverns that are now a tourist attraction under the city. But yeah, so many have been drawn here. From the Romans, kings, bishops, all attracted by its vantage points. And of course, right through to the Second World War, when the Americans were stationed here and stayed here until 1967, when the local air base closed. History, ancient history, modern history, all kinds of history, and it's all around us here at Laon.
So, as you can see, I bought rather large things, but these aren't too heavy, they're just very flamboyant.
They're not just flamboyant. Up against some of the other finds, they work almost like Velcro.
Yes.
And the back seat of the car is looking like Winter Wonderland.
Santa's grotto.
By the way, folks, I am here. Hang on. Let's just put my wig on. Hello.
Now, I've been fancying doing a tree topper, a Christmas tree topper this year, and I was looking at the prices on things and they're so expensive. So I saw those and thought they're going to be at least €10 second hand, possibly 20. And then I picked them out of the jar and they were €1.
Nah, so, mad.
that, let's have a look. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's probably 10. What they call a pick there, so I'm going to have a whale of a time with those, and I'm going to have hours of fun cleaning all the silver up afterwards, or the tinsel.
And as the bits drop off, you can use them as decorations.
Yes. Right, so let's get on to the next few things we bought, because we bought that on one stall, and we also bought these. Now, this is my lantern, and it costs €3. The bulb is in there, and I'm not sure, I haven't even looked that closely. It was a lamp.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to use it as a lamp, I'm going to do something with it.
It hung from a ceiling.
Ah, yes, that's where the wire goes. It goes up.
Yeah, I'll drop that down there so you can see. There we go. That's the ceiling rose, look. There. The wire's coming up. And there we go.
Isn't that lovely? Now, I'm going to turn that into something over on my art channel. So, if you love coming over there and watching what I make, then that's going to be a lot of fun. Probably on the Christmas theme. I'm not saying any more.
And Caroline didn't just buy one lamp on that particular stall.
No.
Because here is another lamp that she picked up.
Now this I don't think is very old, because in the bottom there's a little place for a tea light and a tea light. But at €1,
nice
I could do a lot with that. So that is going to be a lot of fun. And it's got a really nice aged look to it.
Indeed.
Not going to have to work hard to make that look antique.
There we go. Pass that over to you, dear.
There's somebody beeping their horn now. As the day goes on, it gets noisier and noisier.
It does indeed. And we've got so much to show you. The day is going to go on.
Yes. So another thing from that stall is this. Look at this enamel jug, and it's got all marks all over it, which is what everybody loves to see.
It's absolutely.
And it cost, well, I can't show you that closely, €1. I love that. It would take me ages to get all this aging on, or to make it look sort of authentically old. That's authentically old all on its own, so I love that.
I would say that is probably the most French shabby chic thing so far.
Yes, and it also makes you sound funny if you talk into it.
I love it. That's a done deal, isn't it?
Oh yes.
This.
Oh, look at this.
That's off the same store.
I mean, look at that. It's very twee 1950s, 1960s holiday souvenir, but I'm going to turn it into something else. So I'll give you a quick look at it, but then I'll show you it very closely over on my art channel, but that's another thing we bought. €2. Look, it's got a little tap on the bottom. That is going to be gorgeous in the garden. Hang it up. You've got one of those hanging thingies there.
That
and
is
it's enamelled. So I just love that.
That may have just stolen the title of the most French shabby chic.
Because of the little tap. Look at that.
Because that is so cute. But the amazing thing was that we bought all these items, and the lady and gentleman were laughing because I kept pulling faces every time Caroline bought something. Because by this point, I had to go back to the car because Caroline had just bought so much on one stall, hadn't you? But the lady turned round and she adds it all up, and then she goes, €6.
It was €8, and she said, oh, €6?
We were just
okay.
amazed. Yeah, they took €2 off.
And the prices were already silly.
They were the best priced stall
of all
the stalls we visited all day long. They were the best priced. We could, if they'd had more there, we'd have just bought it. Caroline would have had to leave me behind if it's all in the car. But there's more.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. What have you got on your side? Because most of the things
I've got this, which I'm going to be making. For those of you who know me from my art channel, I'm going to be doing Christmas in July, and I'm going to be making some Christmas baubles. So I got this for €1. And look, it's got all... Well, this was funny. I said to the gentleman, how much is it? In French, obviously. And he goes, €2. He goes, okay, €1.
Yeah, Caroline did a harsh bargaining face of...
Well, I didn't even... Probably 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, you didn't have time to breathe.
I was just thinking, oh, shall I? And then he said, oh, €1. So definitely.
Yeah, another bargain.
So there we go. So that's going to be perfect.
And here's a lovely one. Absolutely lovely. So I found these for you, didn't I?
You did.
This one has a crack on the back, but it's hardly noticeable, and it doesn't matter. It is just so beautiful. I love how that has been handled.
These are bronze. They're off something else, I think. But they're bronze.
They bronze or spelter?
Oh, they could be spelter.
Yeah.
They're spelter, I think. But they're lovely.
They are off a garniture.
Yeah.
You can see where they were fitted on the bottom.
And glue, where they've been re-glued and they fell back off.
Perhaps top of a clock. Maybe. Do you think so?
Could be, yeah.
But what I love is that they are so old that they have been touched so much and have worn down. You just can't make that other than having something 100-year-old.
It says on the bottom, made France. So I assume it means made in France.
Yep, we've got France on the bottom here as well. Made France as well. So there we are. Produced in France.
How much did you pay for those?
Euro.
For the two.
Yeah. There we go.
There we are.
Because I'm sure they were off the stall where the man said everything was 50
Oh,
cents.
right. Oh, there's something.
That's where somebody's
inside.
done a repair and glued it on, I think. But there we go, 50 cents that
50
chap was
cents,
charging, wasn't
right.
it? In fact, my one and only purchase came from that
It
50
did.
cents one. I wonder if anyone will notice which is mine. We haven't got to it yet, folk. We haven't got to it yet.
Now, this one I thought was on the same stall. Turns out it was on the stall next door to it, so I had to pay €1 for this one. But I love that. I mean, all these flowers are well past their best. There's a done it again. There's a cactus in there. And first time I stuck my finger on it, and now I did it again. So I'm going to take all that off and brighten it up, because it's a little bit grim, isn't it? So I'm going to do something with that.
There we go. And then we've got a couple of more modern lamps, haven't we?
We've got a big pile coming
You've
up.
got a grey one over there, and I've
Yep.
got one. We saw this and that, didn't we?
Yes, and that one was 50
50
cents,
cents.
and this one was €1. And they're modern, but they're pretty.
Yeah, and they'll certainly be functional for you to repurpose in your craft channel.
Yes, and we're getting too
Which
big a
was
pile now.
something that was very much on our mind. Right then, my bag is almost empty.
Mine isn't, and do you want to show?
Right, yeah. There we go, folks. Now, what do you think of that? Be honest, isn't that just an incredible piece of art?
I think it's a napkin holder.
Yeah, I'd say it's a napkin holder, but it's not going to be purposed for that as far as I'm concerned. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's what I keep referring to as Poirot-esque.
Yes.
That's the sort of thing that you could easily have found on the side in Hercule Poirot's luxury London apartment.
Oh, yes.
I think so. His would have been silver.
Oh, yes. And Miss Laon would have filled it up with proper napkins.
Yes, very posh.
Not paper, cloth.
But I love it. And the fact I love it so much has probably given away the fact this was my purchase of the day.
Yes.
In fact, when I say that, I don't mean the best purchase I made all day. I mean the only purchase I
he's
made.
so well behaved.
No,
Self-controlled.
No, I just
Unlike
loved
me.
it. I loved it. And I was going to resist temptation until we realised the gentleman was charging 50 cents for everything.
Yep.
So it had to come home. And I'm sure I'm going to find a place for it in the shed, and I may even repurpose it as part of my artwork. Because I've got an idea for using these two swans separated from the base with some blue glass, but we'll see how that goes. But I just love it, and if it just stands there as an ornament, I'm happy, because that is my souvenir from this French extravaganza.
Right. On the same store where everything was 50 cents, I got this. I've got to show you, because this is a bag. We've got a little green glass vase there, a few little dry flowers, but this is right, love. There's a little teddy bear in the swing with a bird on the top.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cute for 50 cents, which is about 50p, or probably about 50 American cents actually, because I think the exchange rate with us and the euro and us and with the
80.
dollar is about the same. Also got this one, and this one was €1 too. It's got a little pot in there. I think I got this one from that one, if you see what I mean. It's got €1 on the top, and this, again, it needs some brightening up. It says Briançon, I think it is, so it's a tourist piece. Somebody's brought it back from their holiday, and I'm just going to make that look a little bit happier and more cheerful.
That'd make a lovely Christmas fireplace.
It would, wouldn't it?
With little stockings hanging
Yep,
on
and
it.
a little Christmas tree and Santa
That
legs
would look
coming
nice.
down.
That would.
That's like going too far now.
No, that would do well there. No, I think that's a nice buy. That's a nice buy. What else you got? What else you got?
I got this, which I love. It's a lamp. I've got no idea if it works. It's got a French plug on it, and I'll probably rewire it if it needs it. I'm not quite sure. Oh, it looks pretty good. No, I'll probably rewire it. But I got it for this image on the front. It's a little girl coming down the hill on her sledge with a little dog. At 50 cents. Well, you can't go wrong.
No, that's a lovely
Even
one.
if I use it as a riser and put like a plate on the top and use it for putting cakes or something like that on for Christmas, I think that's got a lot of potential. And our last 50 cent buy, okay, my last 50 cents buy is this little weighing scales. And it's a little bit wonky on the top, but I love that. Can you see the weights on the back? So you got on the front, you got this little pointer, and on the back you got these weights. So I'm going to turn that into something, I'm not quite sure yet. That's going to be over on my art channel, but at 50 cents I thought that has got a lot of potential. So
It's
that
cute.
is for me.
something written on the back, but I haven't got a clue what. Can you see?
Made in France.
There we go.
Surprise,
Made in
surprise.
France. There we go. The French like to make things in France. Now then, recently I did a video with a lot of kitchenware, and it was all enamel.
Yes.
Today we're moving from enamel to copper.
Right, here we go for a little bit of a mini copper extravaganza.
It is indeed. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that nice? It's a little pan, little copper pan with a upright handle, and will probably go beautifully. You could hang that on a nail and put a bit of an arrangement in that, couldn't you? That would look nice. So that's pan number 1.
Again, apologies for the screaming. The children are having a whale of a time over in the little lake opposite us, so it can get a bit noisy.
And here we go. Now this is not a pan, but it is a nice neat little sieve or colander. No.
Yep.
Look at the way they arranged the pattern of the holes. You know, didn't just punch holes in. They made them into like little flowers.
And the pattern is beautiful on it. You can see it's a fair few years old, that one.
Yeah. And of course the handle looks different because it is. As Caroline informed me, that's brass, that's copper, and they colour in different ways. There we go. So that's a nice one. Put that down there. Then we have...
Ooh, what's in the goodie bag?
This little pan.
It's like a miniature jam pan.
It is. It looks very much like a jam pan, only a small one. So put a little dessert in that, I suppose. And not just one, but 2. And then not just one sieve or colander, but 2 of those as well.
Yeah, they're slightly different. You can see it's got a different handle, it's a different size, but I think I'm going to have a lot of fun turning those into something. And they even make a nice display all on their own. They're beautiful.
And then more for, I think, little potted plant, perhaps that was meant, isn't it? Laon. Laon, that one. But there we go. So that was my copperware collection.
Yes. Let's have a look at something else I bought.
Different stall, but still 50 cents an item.
Yep. I think this was 50 cents, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Just to put a candle in. It's nothing special, but I can make that look lovely for Christmas. And look at this. You love this. It's an electric lamp. It's got to make it look like a candlestick. So I am going to turn this probably into a candlestick. Take all the plastic bits off.
Put a candle on it.
But isn't that cute? 50 cents.
Bit of decor on the bottom.
It's lovely. There's nothing written on it. It's nothing special. But I love it.
Indeed. And of course, you saw some of the bigger things that I carried. So we haven't brought those on to display. The
wood and the pool noodles.
Yeah, they were large, but there was one item that was weighty.
Yes.
And that is
very heavy.
this bag.
Not the sort of thing most people would buy.
No, but I'll just show you one, and then Caroline can go through them all on her channel. But what is in here are beautiful little jam jars.
Look at these. I needed some jam jars for my craft, and then I got these in a job lot at £5 for the whole bag full. Now, I know you think, but they're empty jars that somebody's already taken the jam out of. But we don't eat that much jam, so it's our only way of getting these. Plus, if you want anything with a fancy lid, then it costs you a lot more.
Well, yeah.
So I've got fancy lidded jars, a bag full for £5, so they're going to keep me busy for a while.
And of course, we get French labels.
Oh, yes. If you enjoyed coming around to the different places in France and seeing our haul, then up there-ish, there, I'll pop a link to our playlist with all our French videos in, so you can check out all the things we bought and all the places we went to on our French holiday this year.
Yes, and that pretty much wraps up today. Hope you enjoyed coming along to that fantastic city and all those brocantes. We've had such a wonderful time, and sharing it with you just makes it all the more fun.
Yeah, so thanks for coming along with us, and we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget,
have fun. Bye.